Welcome to the Wandering Sword Project. I'm Spencer.
And I'm Kyle. So, Spencer.
Yep.
What are we doing today?
So today we're here in Dearborn, Michigan, just west of Detroit, and we're learning about Belegarth. What do you know about Belegarth?
I don't know a whole lot. I know that it's a foam fighting sport. They use foam weapons, and they have full body targeting except for the head. And it's a type of fantasy setting for their fighting sport, but I've never done it before. This is totally new to me.
Very cool. So at our SCA practices, we have a joint practice with Belegarth people, and we do kind of cross-platform. So I know a little bit about the targeting. Like I said, you don't aim for the head. They use foam weapons. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's just foam weapons. They still smart. They can have a lot of sting on them. So I just know they're good with their hands and good targeting, good movement. That's pretty much all I know.
All right. Well, let's check these guys out.
Let's do it.
All right.
We're going to be talking to two individuals about some Belegarth. We have Steve and Adam. Could you guys please tell us your title in Belegarth as well as your martial arts experience?
Sure. I am Sir Fox Hellion. I'm a knight in Belegarth. I've trained Taekwondo, Aikido, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, American boxing, some light
My name is Sir Killian Atreides, Defender of the Steins, GOAT, and I have been in Belegarth for 20 years, which is the main consistency of my martial arts combat. I was also a wrestler all from grade through high school, and that's pretty much my martial arts experience.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, right off the bat, guys, what is Belegarth?
So Belegarth is a full contact foam fighting game, sport, whatever you want to call it, where your shots have like kind of a minimum necessary, but there really isn't a top end as far as how aggressive and how hard you can.
Very cool.
Full contact sport, like Adam was saying, is definitely a good way to put it. It's not a tap game.
Not
you
light
have to have solid force and solid directive on trying to strike your opponent to get them. It's all honor based, just like almost every other fighting sport that we have.
You guys don't have marshals. No, it's like same point.
We do.
Oh, you do have martials.
They're there
Okay.
for clarification.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
So, but it's generally based on honor.
Very cool. Now that kind of leads into what's the history of Belegarth? When was it started?
Belegarth is a offshoot of another sword fighting group that started in 1977 on the East Coast. In the early 2000s, there was a disagreement between the parties of the sports, and the Midwest decided to go its own way and created Belegarth in 2001.
Gotcha.
The chapters from most of the Midwest and a lot of other chapters were given the right to dual membership, and they stayed, and we formed a war council, and ever since we've been our own entity.
So it's kind of like that whole, you have this big overarching martial arts school and they split, but yet it still works
It's like
out
the
pretty
same. It's just very close to the same rule systems with very small changes in between each one. They change a little more every year, but for the most part, it's the base game just stayed pretty much the same.
Is there a lot of crossover between the sports? Do a lot of people that do Dagger here do Belegarth as well?
Yeah.
There's a ton of crossover.
A lot of us refer to ourselves just as cross gamers, because there's a Dagger Here group, there's an Amcard group, there is a Belegarth group, all within an hour drive. So you can go and fight 5 days a week,
Oh, that's
6 days a
fantastic.
week if you really want to. So yeah, there's a lot of crossover. I usually just called all the other sports when I'm talking to my friends. I said, I can't believe it's not Belegarth. That's how I explained to my friends what I was doing that day.
So now as far as role-playing aspect, is there a role-playing or what kind
Like
of role-playing
live action role play?
Yeah.
Like,
So
how does that
there
work?
can be. You can go as deep into playing a character as you feel like. We have people who paint themselves green. We have people that show up as monsters and trolls and all kinds of stuff, and they do a really good job of doing that and making it interesting while still playing within the rules of the game.
Yeah.
There is no magic, like a magic missile or a lightning bolt at each other. So skill still matters, but it's still a really good time.
It's as high as you want. I like to say that it's my name is Killian. That's my name. Don't wear it out. I mean, that's really the amount of role playing that I do. And like Adam was saying, that there's a lot of people that they take that and they have stories. They've created these long 20-page, 30-page long manuscripts on their history of their character.
That's cool.
And while that character has nothing to do with me on the field, it's kind of cool to sit around a campfire, having a drink, and enjoying hearing stories that people come up with. A lot of creativity.
Sure. And people make the dialogue, and it grows, and as things happen to you, really. And not to get too much into it, we'll talk about it later. But I know when you guys were talking about archery before, and I've seen that where the stone tips, getting hit with the face, just like, oh, okay.
It's like getting hit with a baby fist.
Yeah.
It is no joke. Wake up call.
Yeah. Some people are like they're like, this is like lightning bolt and fire. I'm like, no. It's not like that at all. It's arrows coming at you.
Right. Now, yeah, speaking of like, you guys have archery. What other kinds of weapons do you have? Like, what tools are people allowed to use?
So we have a lot of different types of single-handed weapons. Some of them going into even as far as like flails and unhinged something or other, hook swords, things like that.
Wow.
Spears, pole arms,
Javelins. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
two-handed weapons.
Rocks. Like you said, something we might talk about later would be that we have different classes. There's 5 basic styles: single-handed, two-handed, stab only, missile weapons, and then head only weapons like rocks, and things like that. Which sounds goofy, but when you see it in action,
No, that sounds awesome.
It's real.
Sounds pretty cool. I don't want to get hit with a rock.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know.
It doesn't hurt.
It's the most
It's
embarrassing thing that can happen to you on the field.
As foremost martial arts wise, we talk about your environment being used. It's something I like to harp on. But getting hit by a rock, you're like, what would that do? I'm like, a rock versus flesh wins. So, but
no thanks.
what kept you guys in this? What keeps you playing Belegarth?
camaraderie.
The family that comes from, much like you get in a lot of different schools, a lot of different martial arts schools, they get real close knit. Ours is just bigger. It's huge. Our unit, House Highlander, is
Around 100 people.
around 100 people.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
National and international.
Yeah, we have Canadians. We have a couple people were in Japan for a while. They moved back. Yeah, Puerto Rico. We have guys down there. But yeah, it's definitely camaraderie. We're a family. I had this with my brother.
Yeah.
And I would go to the end of the earth long.
And now, you said your experience has been 20 years. How long has that have you guys known each other?
18 from when I started. Yeah, 18, 19 years, somewhere around there.
It's funny as I'm from that point. They're like 20, where you have the anniversary thing. You're like, what? It's been
So
longer.
you remember that time where your best friend and you're like, I don't know the time that we were ever not.
Sure.
It's kind of hard to remember. So in my back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know, 35 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, no,
The
that
entirety
didn't
of
happen.
my life from beginning to end.
Yeah, because there's all the how about all the formative years? All of those.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
So
Came for the fighting stage for the camaraderie.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
uh,
I've got another question for you
Go
guys.
for it, bud.
So, what is the tournament scene like? Is there a large amount of tournament fighting, or are there other types of focus that people will get into?
so a lot of fighting in, at least a lot of the fighting that I enjoy and I know you enjoy as well is the melee. Is big, large field, full 360 engagement, full contact melee fighting.
We do have tournaments, and because it is honor-based, a lot of people tend to ratchet up their hit taking to the point where it becomes ridiculous.
Sure. People don't like losing.
People in the game generally have an idea of what a solid shot is.
Sure.
It's concussive, it's firm, it's clean. You know that's a shot. And when you watch somebody blow it off, you get upset. And then when that happens, the stigma and the mentality behind tournaments is, oh, it's just a bunch of cheating, right? So there has been a group of people that have been trying to bring back tournaments, but
done a pretty good job.
our main focus is melee conventions.
That's really and the scales that you guys have. How much do you get up to?
Biggest battle I've been in is probably 500 per side.
Nice.
Oktoberfest. Yeah. We had like 1,400 people at that event.
500 side and 360 engagement's the thing that I think is really interesting for a lot of people.
That changes a lot.
It changes the entire field.
Yeah.
And if your head's not on a swivel and you're not fully cognizant of what's going on around you, you will get blindsided, you will get knocked to the ground, you will get stomped out and moved out.
So, a lot of the martial arts that we study that have one-on-one fighting, you develop a moveset for me versus you, maybe match weapons. What kind of movesets do you guys develop for team fighting? Like, does that change? Is there martial strategies for you as a team?
At least for me, I like to stack opponents.
Okay.
So that way you limit the amount of people who can physically engage you as much as possible by shoving them in the way of their friends.
Like the Spartans?
Yeah, kind of. You kind of hot gates them a little bit, and that and being hypermobile.
Sure.
Never, ever, ever stop.
I kind of take a command post on the field. I'm loud, I'm tall, and I'm aggressive, and I will keep pushing a group through. One of my main commands is push forward, crush, maim, kill, and it gets people going when you're screaming at them at the top of their lungs, and people get really amped up and move forward. So my main role on the field is one of two things. Like, we stack people up. You're talking fighting moves. Mine is less fighting moves and more tactician side. Moving opponents around to try and get best working against them.
Very cool. So, how, if we were getting into this, how would we get into Belegarth?
So the easiest way would be to go online. There's a community page.
We'll make sure to post. We'll post something.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll have the stuff below.
You can go on there. You can find your local realm, and if that doesn't work, you can always do a Google search, find somebody, reach out, and they'll help. That's the one thing I can tell you about the community at large, is that if you can find anybody who's like, hey, I want to do this job. Cool. Let me find the person for you to talk to. Like, Ben, here's some gear, here's some guard. Let's set you up. What do you know about this? How'd you practice it?
Yeah, Adam was lucky. He started in a realm that was on a college campus, and it was really well organized, right? Our realm, the realm I started in, had really nobody around. I mean, we had a group, but there was some animosity between us, and so they really weren't willing to help us get started. A few members from his realm, prior to Adam joining, or just as he was joining, would on the weekends come up. They would drive 100+ miles to come and visit with us, teach us how to make weapons, how to make basic garb, how to make shields, teach us the rules, work with us and practice and help us to try and build and create a realm. And actually, one of the members of the group actually funded, because we were 17, 18, a group of young kids with no jobs, no money. He actually funded most of our first gear, like out of his own pocket, which was like totally cool about it. It was like, I love this sport so much, I want you to love this sport.
So literally sponsored you.
Yes, he literally sponsored us
to
get in the group. We started our own realm, and within a year we had like 80 people.
Cool. That's cool. That goes back to the why do you do this to the people. You know, like that sounds like a wonderful community to be a part of.
What you get is
the more the merrier.
Exactly. Yeah.
The more people fight, there's more fun.
Yeah.
And one more thing before we go to our other part of the segment. How many realms are there? You guys talk about realms. Maybe roughly. Is it international? Is it just?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is international. It changes. All a realm has to do to be a realm is have a group of people, and they say, "I am a Belegarth realm."
Okay.
And then we have a voting system for our war council. That's our governing system. Yeah. And then they have to go through requirements and be sponsored to get into the war council and have a vote on how the game plays out. But if you want to say you're a realm, you too could make weapons, have gear, and just say, "We're a Belegarth realm."
The Wandering Realm.
This is our
We
have a Wandering Realm.
Dang it, we beat to it.
Well, we could be a part of the one.
Oh, that's true. We always
You could be part of the Slums of Shaolin.
It's a franchise. I'm sure we can.
Shaolin?
The Slums of Shaolin. That was our Wandering Realm. But yeah, anybody can be part of the group, and that's the best part. Is they try to be as inclusive as possible.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys for your time.
Yes, thanks so much.
We really appreciate that, and we need to get you both Wandering Sword t-shirts that say Scholar on the back, since you guys are teaching us in part of the segment. So we're gonna get you that. So we
just don't have them yet.
Yes, but it's coming.
I owe you.
It's all coming. But thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you.
Let's look forward
thanks,
to the
guys.
other parts.
Thanks to all of our patrons. Shout out to our top supporters, Ajax Dragonpure and Sito Sama, Pathfinders of the Wandering Sword. Wander on.